What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Filip Latocha, and today we are going to be talking about a week in review of training with runner's knee in the Turkey Trot training block. That's kind of fun to say. And how that's leading into the Tokyo Marathon in 2024 on Sunday, March 3rd. So, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed watching content, thanks so much. Welcome back. Love you guys a lot. And yeah, subscribe to, or just follow me on Instagram, Strava for all sorts of updates there. But without further ado, we'll begin. Basically, I don't want to talk too much about my experience with the runner's knee as a whole. I want to have a video for that separate once I'm at like 100% with this current condition. Because it's not perfect, but it's getting better, right? So, kind of the thought process for the week was that slowly but surely, the mileage has been able to go up from what happened last week. Now, obviously, I was out of town last week, so that made the training a little bit more of a challenge, whereas now, back at home, I can go to the treadmill or to a gym or try to go outside whenever I have like the availability to do so. So that kind of helps, right? Now, the idea is to get back on track and start rebuilding some of the mileage very, very slowly because, again, there's a bit of runner's knee still kind of tingling me in places here when I bend the leg a certain way, but once I'm all warmed up, it's pretty good to go, and then I don't have issues with it for like the rest of the day. It's usually in the mornings when it's kind of the worst, and then before my runs that I'll experience some sort of soreness. So, anyways, yeah, I guess we'll give a special shout out to the Boston 12s. This is the shoe I've been able to train in with no real issues or injury exploitation for the last 2 weeks. And yeah, it was just really good to be able to run in a shoe that, even though it was technically classified as a carbon plate shoe, and I was seeing sources tell me that with runner's knee not to run in carbon plate shoes, the shoe held up very well for what I wanted for like a 3 to 5 mile run maximum, and then 2 if it was like absolutely the worst, and I had to like kind of step it back. So the OG shoe right now for this particular training block, oh man, is the Adidas Boston 12. I don't know why I'm so tired. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyways, let's kind of talk about some of the things I experienced with runner's knee at this point in time. Number one, stairs are my worst enemy, but I have been able to adjust that accordingly to get that sorted. To run, or not run, but to walk properly on stairs, even like on a spiral staircase behind this whiteboard. The idea there is that there's going to be pressures on the knee that are not too great if you're walking on it like sideways and whatnot, and it could run into some additional issues such as making you potentially question whether a meniscus tear exists. And now I've tried to do some research on meniscus tears, and I know they're very common amongst runners, and a lot of times they just kind of go away after like 6 to 12 weeks. However, the symptoms for like runner's knee and meniscus tears are like super parallel, minus like some of the ways to check for meniscus tears, and like I've done some of those tests on my own, and a lot of them don't come back with any sort of results, right? Like there's like the ones where you can stand on your knee and try to like twist your leg in a way to see if you can feel like pain on one side or the other. Standing or like bending, or not bending, because bending the knee, believe this is gonna blow your minds, everyone. When you have a knee injury of some sort, you'll know it's this particular injury when you can't bend it all the way straight, or if it hurts when you bend it. That's crazy. Can you believe that? So like that's literally everything, right? Like as far as based on that symptom alone, I blew out my ACL running, right? So that's kind of fun. Also, what's noted with runner's knee is swelling in the knee. I do have some swelling in certain parts like of the knee when I start my run, but then once I'm running it kind of subsides. But the swelling doesn't hurt nearly as much. It's just kind of an annoyance. And yeah, it doesn't, the pain in the knee and the swelling, I guess, don't seem to happen at the same time. So that's kind of interesting as well. But again, with a meniscus tear or a runner's knee kind of symptoms, they're also swelling too. So it's like the only real way to check what a knee injury is based on how complex and how unusual it really is to go get an MRI and just have them kind of confirm it. However, I think with meniscus tears, there was one really subtle test that I did to verify this, and they tell you this too, like in some YouTube videos, the doctors or whatever, And again, don't take my advice as a doctor, because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a medical professional or any sort. Talk to your doctor before we kind of show you some of these things. But the point here is I should be able to keep my knee at like a 90-degree angle on the ground. And if I have a meniscus tear of some sort, I should be able to feel like the area where I guess the femur bone and like the tibia meet. There's like this like gap. And if I can like push on that gap in between both like bones and I feel pain or some kind of soreness, then you know it's the meniscus, because the meniscus like sits in between those two areas of your leg. So like if this is my femur and this is like my tibia, and then there's like, I don't know, your kneecap is like, man, I can't even do this right. Your femur, your tibia, and like your kneecap is like somewhere right there. Like I should be able to put my finger in between these two areas right there. And if I do that and there's pain, then that's like something associated with meniscus. My pain has consistently been in the front of the knee. And it's not even like pain, it's just like an annoyance. And like I'll feel it when I like straighten the knee a little bit in like one particular spot, like almost to the very end, but not quite. I feel it right now too. It's not like painful, just kind of annoying. I digress. Point there is that I know for a fact, just based on outside symptoms and not really doing any sort of MRI, x-rays, going to a doctor, that the meniscus is not what's kind of damaged on my knee at this point in time. So again, we'll go into this into a lot more depth when the time comes for that particular review video, if I ever choose to do it. Anyways, let's just kind of get into this training plan now, since I'm kind of just rambling along. So again, this has been a week in review. We're almost, I think, at about like somewhere around 20, maybe 25 miles this week in terms of mileage. It's not totally complete because, again, I'm not racing tomorrow. Otherwise, I would have been doing a 15K hot chocolate run in Chicago. The weather is nice for the run. Like right now, it's like 55 and sunny, and it's Saturday. But again, based on what's going on here with the leg, I'm going to be cautious, and like it's better to play this one safe than sorry, because it's kind of like a code yellow, code orange type of injury. So I kind of like understand that, like, yes, I will take the distance a lot back, and I'm going to lose fitness as a result, but this is life. What am I going to do about it, right? So no racing tomorrow. Today I'm going to try somewhere between 4 to 5 miles. 5 is like the ideal goal, and I think it's manageable if I run in the Boston 12s. And then tomorrow, maybe if it's nice as well, I'll try to run outside. We'll see how that also goes. But again, patience is key right now. We are like 2 weeks into the injury right now. Actually, it started this day, and then we're here. Oh, excuse me. So about 2.5 weeks right now as up to this point. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. And then after this race day weekend for the turkey trot, so as we start adding the mileage, you know, we kind of play it by ear based on what happens today, and tomorrow I'll add those mileage points to my calendar. After this turkey trot, we slowly go into a grace period where I have some work things going on, so the mileage won't necessarily increase. I'll try to stabilize it to whatever point I get it to up to here. But then after that, we start ramping it up for Tokyo training. I have like a 15-week training plan, which I plan to use starting sometime in mid-December. And from there, start implementing some races that are going to occur. So one of those, of course, will be the Lifetime Half Marathon, which will be in Miami on January 28th. I do plan on doing that as the half marathon rust buster leading up to the Tokyo Marathon. It's going to be tricky, but I will get it done. The thing that also I'm kind of dabbling with, I've got it X'd out right now. It's the Hot Chocolate Houston run on Saturday, January 27th. And now for people who have watched this channel before, in late 2022, it must have been 22, I raced the Hot Chocolate Houston run, and I took third place overall in the 15K category. I liked that race. I liked racing in Houston. My only caveat with it is that it's so close in the marathon training block to the Tokyo Marathon and the Lifetime Half Marathon that doing that Saturday race in Houston and then trying to fly in the same day to Miami is going to be a heck of a stretch. It would be awesome to do, and like on paper and visually, like thinking about it, it seems like the craziest thing to do. But as a result, like I don't know, I'm just gonna stay back and we're gonna take it easy. Just focus on Lifetime Miami. Just get that half marathon sorted out, get it done, get that rust buster in in more tropical type conditions. So when I get to Tokyo and the conditions are the way they are, it'll be a lot more manageable than running through like dead cold winter here in Chicago or like the Chicago suburb areas, right? So that's like the two things I've definitely considered, and like the two things that are hardcore staying is like Tokyo Marathon for sure is going to be the A race for this particular training block, and then the lead up to the A race is going to be that half marathon Miami for the Lifetime series, and then there will be some smaller races somewhere here in between. Just haven't decided them yet, and yeah, it's just gonna need a few of these in the training block to cautiously expedite the fitness that I may have lost from tuning mileage back right now over this knee. So those have been some of my considerations. That's kind of the big plan that's kind of going on here. If you guys are training for Tokyo, is this a race on your calendars? Does this even make sense to have this race like almost a month out? You know, let me know in the comments if you know, you got a similar kind of build idea. If like you're starting also in mid-December, have you begun now? Did you run the Chicago Marathon and you've just continued training since Chicago? Also let me know about that too. So yeah, it's gonna be great, but that's kind of the gist of things now. So long story short, for people who care, otherwise if you just listen to me ramble for 10 plus minutes here, the knee is doing better. The light is at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there. Just gotta kind of chug along at it a little bit more as we go along. The Turkey Trot training block is not going as well as I thought it was. I'm already DNSing 2 races as of right now leading up to this one. The Tokyo Marathon training block, I have the plan. It looks nice. It's going to be fast. I'm not going to talk about it too much yet, not until we get there. But it's going to be a block that's going to challenge me more than any other race training block has challenged me historically. And if it works the way it's going to, we're going to see some really crazy results. Like good results compared to my 3-hour, 10-minute PR. So I am excited for that. But first things first, let's fix the little things. Let's fix the knee. Let's get some work stuff out of the way. Let's create like a nice, I guess, bubble of protection from all of that. And yeah, let's have some fun. Most importantly, like if I hate running, then I wouldn't be doing it. I like running, but I get frustrated with running a lot when it's with an injury or when things go sideways. But sometimes you just put your head down and you just keep going because you know about the bigger picture in this case. So those are things I've thought about a lot. And yeah, kind of brings us to this point in time in the training vlog. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.